Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very noisy and very busy Red Star Raceway. Now normally when you come to Red Star to do a test, we tell all of these people to go away. Literally kick them all out, get the whole track to ourselves and ride around the whole day at our leisure. But today we're doing things a little bit differently. Today is an open track day at Red Star Raceway. So we are actually going to try and do a whole day at Red Star Raceway, mingling with other people and other bikes. But inevitably, there's a catch. We are going to attempt the track day on this, the new Yamaha R7 we got from World of Yamaha. That's nothing like the original 1999 4-cylinder Hager machine. The new version is a parallel twin 689cc motor that, apart from some mild tweaking, is lifted straight out of the MT-07. And that's a problem. At this point, we probably owe you a bit of an explanation, or more should I say, an explanation to our international viewers on YouTube, because the South Africans are already going, hey, he wants to ride a girl's bike. And that's sort of the thing here about South Africa, is if you want to go to a track day as a sort of male adult, you have to be on a 4 million rand, 2,000 horsepower, latest GT, ZX, Panigale, whatever. You have to be riding one of those, otherwise, well, you're riding a girl's bike. So here is the challenge. Can we spend the day on this, the Yamaha R7, at Red Star Raceway, and have a good time? Let's find out. That could be tricky. In a 200 horsepower arena, the R7 enters the ring with a somewhat meager 75 horsepower and 68 newton meters of torque. That's not something you really want to be explaining around a pit wall. Not that you'll have to. Mind you, not a lot of people have noticed that this is an R7 because of the way it looks. It looks a lot like an R1, and I've established that people don't really pay attention. Most of the people that have walked in here sort of behind the scenes to come say hello haven't even noticed that this is a 700cc twin. And even when you get a bit closer, I mean, there's a few little things, like obviously not enough buttons, the screen's a bit smaller, the mirrors are a bit, but otherwise it looks pretty sort of bang on. It's pretty, everything is just so nicely put together. Yamaha is one of these companies that do not let that sort of thing slide. The bike has to look absolutely brilliant, and every bike in their entire range has to look brilliant. And this thing is no different. Come and take a look closer, you'll see. Everything is just in its place, everything looks good, everything looks well made. It looks a bit like an R1, which saves a lot of time explaining stuff. And this exact bike has some optional extras to really pull off the 200 horsepower look, including a set of shark gills on the tank, a fenced off exhaust like the MotoGP bikes have, and a one-way quick shifter. And with that, it's time for the first session, and to see what we have to work with. Okay, here we go. Start her up. Okay, that's not loud. Yeah, that's quite soft. Not exactly a roaring sound. Easy down pit lane. Hello. Second gear, open up. Yeah, on 1000cc, this is not a straight, it just disappears. Whoop, whoop, whoop. On this, it's a straight. And I saw a top speed of 180 kilometers an hour. Rumors suggest that if you go out onto the public road, you will get 200, more, north of 200, 210, maybe more. Although the gearing for this bike is quite a bit longer than the MT-07. They did it on purpose because it's more aerodynamic. It's 8% longer. So at this altitude, we're a mile above sea level. That's a lot of, power sapping height. Plus, I'm not exactly the, I don't think I'm quite the dimensions for your average R7 rider. However, it struggles to pull top gear on the public road. You sort of go flat out in fifth, and then as you put in a sixth, it just kind of stays there. Although I'm sure you put someone lighter at sea level, it'll be fine. Let's see what else we have. Well, not electronics. The R7 has fuel injection, but not ride-by-wire with no IMU. So it has ABS that isn't lean sensitive and no traction control, cruise control, heated seats or anything else. And it gets slightly worse when we start throwing other bikes into the mix. Here we go, let's go. Oh, whoa! Geez, that's quick. That was quick, that was very quick. Yeah, the things are not maybe quite as quick as a 200 horsepower superbike. Right, so top speed is not going to thrust this motorcycle into the forefront of racetrack glory, but from there things do get better. The R7 uses a 270-degree crank, meaning it has an irregular firing order. The top speed might not be there, but everything up until then is good fun. Mind you, it's got really good mid-range. I kind of feel it here. I mean, I'm coming out of here in third gear, lowest revs, open the throttle, it pulls nicely. Not like 1,000, but nicely. Here we go, onto the medium back straight. Second gear, pull. That's not terrible, that's really not terrible. This quick shifter, while it's not the most sophisticated, but it works. Yeah, nice and smooth. You don't really need to change gears that much. Surprisingly, I thought I was going to be up and down through them all the time. That's a benefit on the track, but an even better one for the street, where this bike is designed to go also. It's also really comfortable. Okay, like a BMW bagger or something like that, big touring bike will be better, but for like a sort of sport bike. Oh, here comes someone. That was a 600, went past me at speed. But, you know, it's quite roomy. They've got enough room here. The handlebars aren't that low. There's quite a bit of space. Even with the higher foot pegs to stop them scraping so much, there is enough space here to move around. And I'm someone who complains a lot about space, so for me to say good news, that means good news. The frame on the R7, like the MT-07, uses a mix of steel tubing and aluminium, but is slightly different in that the rake is a bit steeper and the weight is shifted slightly to the front. This gives a better turn-in feel from the 188 kilogram motorcycle. There's something about small capacity motorbikes. Nowadays 700cc small, by the way. Yeah. But there's something about it is that we give a weight spec on this motorcycle, how much it weighs, but that doesn't tell the story. Because there's also a lot of the weight of things that are spinning and all kinds of stuff. And this thing has a very low spinny weight, as engineers like to call it, which means this thing turns on a dime. Really, it's just nothing for it. It holds the line so effortlessly. You are never overwhelmed on this motorcycle, never. It just always seems to be exactly what you want it to do, where you want it to be, and you don't get that on those bigger bikes. That's helped by an adjustable KYB forks up front and a mostly adjustable rear shock that, even with someone of my charitable proportions, does rather well. This is getting fun. There we go again. Maybe I can catch this guy, let's see. No, he's disappearing. Down the straight, there he goes. He's gone. But I'm catching up to him through these corners. Look at that, right back on him. Yeah, 1000cc watt. 1000cc watt. 1000cc watt. There we go, on the brakes. Yeah. I'm right there. Can't get it, can't slip shoot on the straight. Yes! 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 Look at that, I'm through! I'm through! Haha! Yes, little R7! As I grew confident with the handling, more big bikes started falling. It must be so humbling to be riding a top superbike that you have offloaded a bucket full more cash on in order to make it even faster, only to be dive bombed by a fat bloke on a 179,000 rand little bike. Oh, those poor fools. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good now. This bike is really starting to make sense. Look at me, I'm going through here. I feel like an absolute king. I am unbeatable. I'm the best person ever. Hey, What the hell? That was... I know her! That's a girl! On a 400! Nicole Ferry! I'm gonna catch her! Oh, she's firing off, she's disappearing! Oh man, she's going away! No! No, I'm ruined! I'm ruined!
Well, Dom there experiencing the ups and downs of life at a track day. Before I say anything about the R7, let me just reinforce that going to a track day on any kind of bike, from cruiser to adventure, on any kind of size, from 150 to 1500, is a great idea for improving your riding skills. Everyone should do it. Really, if you're still relatively new to biking and want to understand more about the skills of riding and what your bike can do safely, then signing up for a course of some kind at a circuit like Red Star Raceway will undoubtedly be one of the very best investments you can make in your riding career. And don't worry, it's not all about experienced racers or megabucks bikes, though if they do happen to be there on the same day as you, at least there's something to look at while you kill time between your own sessions. As Don found out there, and as all of us have done at some point or another, you'll get great satisfaction overtaking the bigger bikes on your smaller machine. But at some point, as Nicole did to him, you need to expect the favour to be returned, and there's nothing wrong with that. As for the R7, it's a far, far cry from the ridiculously expensive racing 750 homologation special that I initially rode back in 1998, I think it was. So, what, knocking on 25 years ago now. That was created to give Yamaha a chance of winning World Superbike Championships, and ultimately it didn't work. The name has been revived now for a much more simple, affordable and sensible sport bike, and it's a direction I very much appreciate. I've always been a big fan of learning, improving and getting your kicks out of being able to exploit the last bit of performance out of a bike with modest power and a capable chassis because, and I'm afraid no matter how many of us might protest, this fact is for the vast majority of us simply undeniable. Big litre class sport bikes these days are simply way too much performance for non-full-time professional racers to have a hope of exploiting in any kind of meaningful way, really. In South Africa, the R7 is expensive, but at 180 grand or so, it's still significantly cheaper than its most direct competitor, that is Aprilia's RS660. Although you could legitimately argue that the Italian bike's steeper price tag includes a level of cutting-edge riding electronics and overall sophistication from suspension and braking that put the Japanese bike to shame, really. You pays your money and you takes your choice, as they say. In South Africa, the potential competition, slightly more road biased and softer in their focus, from Honda and Kawasaki aren't imported at the moment, which is a shame. I'm talking of the 4-cylinder CBR 650R from Honda that also happens to pack about another 20 horsepower over the Yamaha, and in Europe at least is only 2,000 or 3,000 rand more expensive. Kawasaki's offering is cheaper than all the opposition. The parallel twin Ninja 650 has a bit less power, but it's a good looking bike with an unbeatable price. But the market being as tough as it is presently in SA, it's not listed for sale at the moment. Shame, because like the Honda, it packs a lot of punch for the price. Suzuki has had the very lovely and always capable SV650 since 1999, doing pretty much the same thing year after year, and although it is an ancient piece of kit compared to the R7, if you can find yourself a clean one, then it'll give you 90% of the same thrills for a fraction of the cost. A sweet handling package and a great engine, a genuine V-twin in what is now world dominated by parallel twins. It's undoubtedly a modern classic, but it seems its time has finally come to an end because we expect, at last, a new middleweight twin from Suzuki to be announced by the end of this year. Probably a 700, almost definitely a parallel twin. It'll probably appear in a middleweight replacement for the 650 V-Strom first, but you can expect it to be in a naked and a semi-faired SV replacement pretty quickly, I would have thought. It has big shoes to fill, so let's hope Suzuki have built something special enough to take them through the next 2 decades of bike development as successfully as this last one has done. Right, ad break time, after which we return with some hero news.